Okay, so good day, grade 8 max size students. For this lesson, this is going to be our second lesson for the fourth quarter. So we have here inscribed angles. Okay, so whenever you guys hear the word inscribe, so that means that a specific figure, it can be a polygon or any figure that's found inside of a given of another figure. So there you go. That's the meaning of inscribe. So we have a specific figure that's been drawn inside a specific figure. So for this one, for inscribed angles, the concept of arcs are very important. So we have discussed the two different types of arcs. We have the minor arc and the major arc. Okay, again, the minor arc measures less than 180 degrees, and the major arc measures greater than 180 degrees. And inscribed angles can be found in different also in different what they call this things that we see in our house, and also in for entertainment. So we have your pie. Okay, so like, yeah, a literal pie with an arc here. Okay, so the arc here can be measured using formulas that we have discussed on the previous quarter, and also dartboards. Okay, so if you want to find the measurement of this specific arc, we can use the formulas that we will learn for this one on inscribed angles. Okay, so given the circle on the right, circle K, the two angles alpha and beta. Okay, so angle alpha is the inscribed angle of LV, and the angle beta is the central angle of LV. So there you go. The central angle is always equal to the measurement of the arc itself. Okay, so if we have a central angle, given that theta is a central angle, okay, so therefore the inscribed angle, is the same as, is the same or congruent as the central angle is congruent to the inscribed angle. So the inscribed angle, on the other hand, is half the measurement of the subtended arc. Okay, so when we say subtended arc, okay, that's the arc where this central angle is found. Okay, or half the measurement of the central angle. A subtended angle of an arc is an angle that is bound by two line segments. Okay, so a subtended angle can be not found. Okay, so it can be found on the central angle, but most of the times it can also be not found on the central angle. So it can be found on any place. Okay, on any place on the of the circle, okay, on its circumference. So there you go. So we have here, so this is a subtended angle. Okay, so there you go. If the central angle measures 176 degrees, okay, so the measurement of angle beta is 176 degrees, then the measurement of the inscribed angle alpha is equal to 176 divided by 2, which is equal to 88 degrees. So there you go. That's how we solve for the inscribed angle given a central angle. Okay, so that's 176 divided by 2, so that's going to give you 88. The measurement of arc LV, okay, is going to be the same as the measurement of the central angle itself, which is 176 degrees. Okay, so the subtended angle is half the central angle, and the central angle is the same with the arc. Okay, so the arc or the subtended arc of the central angle. So we have here inscribed angle theorems. Okay, so to help you visualize the use of the three theorems, so let's have a look at these illustrations that we have here on the right. Okay, so the measure of an inscribed angle is half the measurement of its intercepted arc. So our inscribed angle here, guys, is angle A. Okay, so this is the inscribed angle, and we have here an intercepted arc or a subtended arc. So we have here arc WY. Okay, so the measurement of angle A, it says here on the inscribed angle theorem 1 is 1/2 the measurement of arc WY. Okay, and the first corollary, the opposite angles of a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle are supplementary. So later we're going to try to discuss this one, okay, and we will see more examples regarding this one. Okay, inscribed angle theorem 2. The inscribed angles subtended by the same arc are equal, are all equal to each other. So you see here the arc, okay? So we have your arc CY, and it has three subtended angles. Okay, so we have your angle alpha, another angle alpha, and another angle alpha. So these three angles, okay, so they're named alpha, and they're all congruent to each other since they are being subtended, okay, by the same arc, which is CY. Two inscribed angles that intercept the same arc are congruent. Okay, so on the figure on the right, the three angles alpha are congruent to each other since they are subtended by the arc CY. And the third inscribed angle theorem, so this is one of the best, okay, one of the most used inscribed angle theorems. So the inscribed angle in a semicircle is always measures 90 degrees, and it always forms a right triangle. Okay, so there you go. So if we have here a semicircle, okay, so this is CY, and let's say this is point A, okay, so therefore angle A measures 90 degrees. Okay, so there you go. If we have here a semicircle, okay, if we have a semicircle CY, so the angle that's been subtended here, okay, so that's 90 degrees. And the fourth inscribed angle theorem, an inscribed angle is half the central angle that it subtends, the same arc. So given the inscribed angle and a central angle, the central angle is always twice, okay, twice the inscribed angle that are both subtended by the same arc. So let's say for example, again we have here CY, arc CY, and let's say for example we have here point A at the middle. So if angle A here measures 2x degrees, so therefore angle, okay, let's say we have here angle D. Okay, so angle CDY measures x degrees. Okay, so if this is, let's say for example, 90 degrees, so angle x here measures 45 degrees. Okay, so that's the general theorem. And the opposite angles of a quadrilateral inscribed in a circle are supplementary. Again, we're going to try to look into some examples of that corollary later. Okay, so there are three cases illustrated for the inscribed angle theorem. Okay, for the first one, the three cases are as follows. So the center P lies on CIR. Okay, so it's still the same. Okay, so this is the half of this one. If this is 2x, then this is x degrees. Okay, and center P lies inside of CIR. Again, if this is 2x degrees, then this is x degrees. And we have your center P lies outside of angle CIR. And again, if this is x degrees, then CR is 2x degrees. Okay, so we'll try to prove the second case of the first inscribed angle theorem of circles. So the first and third cases will be left to you guys, this one. So the first and third cases. But for this one, for our lesson, we're going to try to prove the second inscribed angle, the second case of the first inscribed angle theorem. Okay, so for case 2, consider that the center point P lies on angle CIR. Construct a diameter IL from point I, okay, from point I to L. Okay, so from case 1, it can be said that the measurement of angle CIL, the measurement of this angle, is 1/2 of CL, of this arc. Okay, and we have the measurement of RIL. Okay, so this angle right here measures 1/2 of RL, 1/2 of arc RL. Okay, so we have here arc CL and arc RL. So hence we have the measurement of angle CIR is equal to the measurement of angle CIL plus the measurement of angle RIL, since they are congruent to each other. Okay, so these arcs are congruent to each other based on the previous inscribed angle theorems that we have. So therefore 1/2 of the measure of arc CL plus 1/2 the measurement of arc RL, okay, will be equal to the measurement of angle CIR. Okay, and using the segment addition postulate, okay, so we can add those two and we can factor 1/2, okay, on this equation that we have here. So therefore, so again, using the segment the arc addition postulate, okay, using the arc addition postulate, if we add CL and LR or RL, we're going to get CR. So therefore, we have here the measurement of CIR. Okay, CIR is equal to 1/2 the measurement of arc CR. Okay, so and that's how we prove the second case of the inscribed angle theorem. Okay, so let's try to solve some problems involving this one. Okay, so we have here word problem 1. Carla wants to determine the size of an arc and its inscribed angle on a modified version of a mandala game that she created. So given two arc measurements on the diagram on the right, find the measurement of NV and angle G. So we have here, guys, 86 degrees. Okay, so let's write our givens here. So we have here circle P. Okay, so circle P. So let's say, on circle P, we have here 86 degrees and we have here 64 degrees. To get the measurement of angle D, okay, we have to use the postulate that says that the circumference of a circle, okay, the total angle measurement of a circle is equal to 360 degrees. So therefore, this will be equal to 360. Okay, 360 degrees is equal to 86 degrees plus 64 degrees plus d degrees. Now we don't know the value of d, so to solve for the value of d, we're going to use transitive property of equality. So 360 minus 86 minus 64 is equal to d. Okay, and therefore we're going to get a value of, for angle D, we have 360 minus 86 minus 64, we have 210 degrees. There you go. So the value of D is 210 degrees. And therefore, if D, okay, angle D measures 210 degrees, or D degrees, or what do you call this? This is NV, no? So this is arc NV. So the measurement of arc NV is equal to 210. To get the measurement of angle G here, okay, so we just simply have to divide the measurement of arc NV to 2. Okay, and 210 divided by 2, so that's just going to simply give you 105 degrees. So therefore, the value of angle G is equal to 105 degrees, and the value of angle D, or the measurement of arc NV, is equal to 210 degrees. Okay, so that's our solution for problem number 1.